Thank you for joining us tonight at Ask Us Anything, and we look forward to spending this time with you every week.
Will you be my Valentine? Oh,
Sure.
you already were. You already were.
Sure.
Yeah. You look all Valentine-ish.
Well,
on this Valentine month. Yeah, it's funny
it's
because
February.
yeah, it is February. We're Mike and Jen, and this is Sunday night, and we're live, which is better than the alternative.
Oh, and we've been running around here like crazy trying to get Bo in.
Yeah,
Bo
Bo
was doing security.
You know, we let Bo out about a half hour ago.
What's this wee stuff?
I let him out about a half hour ago.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't come for you. He's in here now. Oh no, he's leaving us.
Oh, he's leaving.
But there's a raccoon out there. The temperature is like 43 degrees. And so the raccoons have woken up and they're really hungry. They'll go back to sleep as soon as it gets about 10 o'clock. It gets down below freezing. But anyway, Bo has had a very busy evening.
Oh, he's having a good day then.
He's having a good day. It's always a good day when you can chase a raccoon.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you all for being with us. We are delighted to be here. We're going to talk about the RV lifestyle. We'll answer your questions. Please help us out by doing an all caps question, or if you're making a comment on something that said, put it in all caps comments. And then our moderators, Phyllis Kerr, who is based in Iowa, and Chris Cowley, who's in West Virginia, almost heaven. He's there. And on YouTube, Phyllis is handling it all on Facebook. And we would love to know it. And if you are on Facebook and when it asks you for your name, that's great, because if you say yes, give it permission, then we'll know, instead of, you won't come across as some Facebook user. We'll actually have a name and can call you. Does that make sense? I don't know if I said it all well. So lots of stuff to talk about just in terms of our life. We spent Friday in Holland, Michigan, getting some work done on the RV. If you remember, along I-75 down, we were Macon, Georgia, a month or so ago. A big hunk of concrete bounced down the road and took out one of my leveling jacks. They were unable to fix it at Holland.
But they told us how fortunate we were that it just didn't fall down and cause even more damage.
Yeah, it was just barely hanging there by a hose, really. And that would have been a mess if that had dropped off and was dragging on the ground. So,
and you know how rough the roads are this time of year. And they're only going to get worse.
So we got that fixed, but paid $300 and it didn't get fixed, I should say. They couldn't fix it. So we have to go this week. We have to make our way to Elkhart, Indiana. And Equalizer, the people who make our levelers, they can fix it in no time because they're the ones who fabricate everything. And so we'll get that. And we always like to go to Elkhart. There's always a couple of stories we can chase around down there. We've got a couple that we're interested in pursuing. So
we do.
But can't talk about it yet. So let's just jump in with your questions and we'll see what we can come up with today. Linda Barcume is the first one.
And Linda says hello from Port Canaveral Jetty Park Campground, hoping to see the SpaceX launch tomorrow. Oh, I wish we were down there.
Yes, we've stayed at Jetty Park, and you're in a great area. It's awesome. You got a good view of Cape Canaveral right across the little jetty, the little walk. Where the jetty is, where all the cruise ships go out of. Anyway, awesome. SpaceX is launching every month now, putting up about 50 more satellites into low Earth orbit. This will all be part of that awesome SpaceX set up, that Starlink internet system that we all can't wait to get. Hopefully this year we'll see the first test in remote broadcasts, remote satellite receptions, so you can hook it up in an RV, but not quite ready yet. But that's going to be a game changer for those of you who work remotely. Tom Hoffman.
We appreciate your review of the Clear 2.0 filter for the city connection. When filling your freshwater tank, do you use Clear 2.0 at potable sites?
Yes, I put it on. Anytime I'm putting water into my RV, I put that filter in line. That's a 2-stage filter. And I buy it every year. I buy new ones. And I just bought it. We were in Florida, I think, at the, we noticed, I know they're selling them in Walmart in the camping sections there. So I just bought my latest one there. It's a 2-stage. The first is a big solid block carbon filter. Most of the filters that people use for water filter are powdered carbon, which doesn't do nearly the job that a big solid block of filter will do, the medium. And so it's a big solid block and then a smaller solid block that screws into it. So it's a two-stage filtering system. It gives me the best tasting water. We even used it a week ago on our property as we hooked up water for the first time on our property. Water's now in Tennessee. We'll have an update on that on Saturday's video on YouTube. We'll show you all the upgrades we've done on our property there.
It was so much fun.
Yeah, I can't wait. We're going back in a couple weeks.
You got such a good laugh when I turned down the water in the bowl.
Oh, I wonder if I could, how many of you saw that? It's on TikTok. Actually, it was so good I made a TikTok video of it. Yeah, Jennifer we have 3 water spigots now for the 3 sites, camping sites we're building there. And the first test of one of them, she went to fill up bowls. So I'll get bowls some water from this, and you tell them.
This water went everywhere. It was an explosion of water.
Yeah, and it was a great laugh.
Great water pressure.
And I got the camera out when you did it, and we put it up on TikTok, so it was pretty fun. I love that Clear 2.0 water filter. That's all to say. Linda again with the question.
All right, going out west in June to see the Grand Tetons and Devil's Tower. Only have time for one more place to see. Any suggestions?
Well, Linda, you got to go through Yellowstone. I mean, if you're going to go to the Grand Tetons and you're going to go to Devil's Tower, right in the middle is Yellowstone. Just go to Yellowstone, see Yellowstone, make your way south through Yellowstone. If you can't budget a couple, 3 days at Yellowstone, at least drive through the park on the way to the Grand Tetons.
Maybe Linda's been to Yellowstone.
You can't be to Yellowstone enough.
Well, I'm sure people out there have got some suggestions for her.
Well,
I love Yellowstone. I could go every year.
If you only have one more stop, I'm just telling you, cut to the chase, go back to Yellowstone. Even if you've been there many times.
Then you got to choose between the animals.
The animals and the geysers. But even if you just can't come in through the north from Devil's Tower, then, work your way south and you can come right out. And then, Grand Tetons borders the southern border of Yellowstone. Other suggestions, if you really don't want to go to Yellowstone, is Cody, Wyoming. We love Cody.
We had fun there.
I don't think in June, the rodeo, the nightly rodeos will be back. If nothing else, there's an awesome Museum of the West. One of the best museums we've seen anywhere in the world is at Cody, Wyoming. Mm-hmm. And of course, you have to go to the hotel and the saloon in town that Wild Bill Cody built named after I think after his wife or his daughter. I don't remember, but that's a great place to hang out. And they have a nightly gunfight along the side. Yep. I love Cody. Yeah.
We had fun in Cody.
And then they got the Beartooth Mountains. Oh man, I could go on and on. Robin Ostermeyer. Hi, Robin.
Which is better, to attach the water filter at the source of the water or at the end of the other hose by your RV? Which do you prefer?
Everybody has a theory. I put mine at the source of the water, and others say, "Oh no, you should put it only at the other end just before it goes in the RV." And okay, you can do that if you want, but I don't. I put it at the source of the water, and I have the filtered water going through my hose and into the RV. So that is where I hook mine up, and if you're asking me to prove why mine is better, I can't. It just makes more sense to me, and I'm thrilled with the taste.
I think that putting it by the source, it's out of the way, that big clunky thing. And if you get it too close to your RV, it might be banging against it.
It's easier to hook up that way.
And when you take off, it becomes more of an issue. And you don't have that many feet of hose, and you have special hose for water, for drinking water. So I think the source sounds like the better place to me.
Me too. And that's what I do. Trevor Mitchell.
Good evening, everyone. We're new, but thoroughly enjoy the podcast. Thank you. That means a lot to us.
We really do appreciate that, Trevor. Thanks for being there with us. James Barber.
Hello from Linden, Tennessee.
Hey, James.
I love the name Linden.
Yeah. Hey, neighbor. Good to see you, James. It's our favorite place because now it's home. Now that it's home. It's rapidly becoming home. We just got back last week and from Linden, and we're heading back. I think we'll be back, second week of March maybe, and we can't wait to get there. So
This has been a really good week because we have visited all three of our kids
Yes, we
in
have.
various places on this earth.
Yeah. Yeah. We've had great meals with all three of our kids too. It's good. Thanks for saying hi, James. I don't know if you're a neighbor at the Woodlands where our property is, or whether you're a resident in Linden, but hats off. Hope the weather's good. It looks like we had some rain that went through. Bryce Irwin.
All right. Do you use a Berkeley water filter?
No, I use a Clear 2.0 water filter. Clear 2.0.
Have you ever used a Berkeley?
Nope.
Have you ever heard of it before?
Yep.
Okay.
But I can't use everything.
Right.
And I love what I have. 1 Mike Kilo.
All right. Now that you have owned both the Mercedes and Ford chassis, which do you prefer? Can I answer that a little bit?
Yeah, you answer it.
I love the Ford chassis on our vehicle that we have now, our Leisure, our Wonder.
Don't you hear a but coming?
No, I really love it.
Yeah.
It handles like an SUV. It's so easy to drive that vehicle. I like it. I love the Mercedes because that's a real workhorse, the Mercedes. And there's more space in the cab for Bo to get comfortable in between us. Right now in the Ford chassis, Bo stands up for hours and hours.
Okay, 1 Mike Kilo wants you to answer the question though. Which of
I'll
the
leave
two
that
do
for
you
you.
which of the two do you prefer?
Well, if I lived out west where lots of mountains, I would want the Mercedes.
No, yeah.
Are you going to move out
I'm going
west?
back into my reporter. Answer the question, Mrs. Wendland. I mean, you got to prefer one of them.
I like them
Well, no,
both.
I guess you don't have to.
I don't have to. I like them both. I'm a woman. I can like them both.
Okay. Well, I do. I like them also. I think, I mean, we really wanted to try the Ford chassis because it is so popular and it is such a versatile, it's just, it feels like an SUV.
And because you can get gas easy.
Yeah. And we wanted to try
a little
gas.
harder sometimes to get diesel.
And the one we have is an all-wheel drive mode. So we just,
and boy, did that handle great in the snow.
yes,
Oh,
we had a
we
big
were in a blizzard.
Yeah.
Welcome to Michigan.
It's so good we winterized before we left Linden last week. But we got stuck in a big blizzard Thursday.
Mike said it was the worst driving you've ever had.
It was horrible. Yeah, it was just after it ended and freeways were just solid ice and snow covered. But I prefer the Sprinter chassis, I think, over the Ford. After using both of them for about 2 years, I would go back to the Sprinter if it was a choice between the two of them. And I think I would do it for a couple of reasons. One, towing power. It's got more torque, and the cab has a little bit more room, which is in our case important only because of our dog who can't quite lay down there, but he's very neurotic about going in the back of the RV. Hates riding in the
Every
RV.
bump in the road terrifies him.
So he stands there the entire time we
Leaning
drive
into me.
between the two seats, and he'll lean into one of us, and he'll paying attention
And
to him.
then you get a cold nose on
Yeah.
you. Pet me.
Yeah, so that's
But we'll
kind of
miss
unique.
him when he's gone.
But I kind of lean towards the Ford chassis or the Sprinter chassis, Mike.
But again, with the Ford, it's cheaper if you can find a place that
Yes,
can accommodate your
it is-
vehicle
it
for
is
oil
less
changes
expensive.
and maintenance. And of course, the Sprinter, it costs more.
Yeah. Rosemary Green. It's a comment.
We have waited 1 year for our Wonder, and now we are told at least 2 more.
2 more
Ooh,
years.
The price has increased almost $20,000 with more increases expected. So we canceled our order and bought a 2021 Pleasureway Plateau XLTS and take delivery tomorrow. Have you seen one of these? I have seen one of those and I love that vehicle.
Yes. Pleasureway is a great manufacturer. Another small company based in Canada. They're in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. They make really high quality units. They used to make Class C's and they have switched now to pretty much all B's. And the Plateau XLTS, I think, is their flagship. It's really a really nice unit. You'll be very happy with it. And it's great. And it's a shame about Leisure, but we're hearing that with everybody that it's 2 to 3 years and the prices have been going up. It's just amazing. But they're going up on almost everybody. But I'm so glad.
And I am so comfortable driving a B.
But we're not getting a B
no,
again.
We're not getting
No,
a B again,
no.
but I love driving the B and I liked it because the sensors on the side that let you know if anybody was in your blind spot. That is a big deal to me.
Yep.
I need that help.
Yeah. Carl Aaron.
Do you think these skyrocketing fuel prices will slow down RV purchases and travel?
Well, the last time this happened, Carl, it wasn't until they were well over $4, pushing $5, that it started to have an effect. Some studies I've seen say that we'll reach that level by summer. So, yeah, I think it will have an effect, particularly on people who are only getting 8-9 miles a gallon on the big motor homes or towing, big fifth wheels. That's a lot of money. And that's another factor for why I think so many people are buying land like we just did in Tennessee. And while we're looking for more land in Michigan, if we can find something that will work there.
Not too expensive.
And that way, while these prices are so crazy and while it's still hard to get into a campground, we always will have a place to go in Tennessee or in Michigan. So we're really kind of excited about this, developing our own campsites, because that we can use them.
And we're also thinking that it's just a matter of time that people who own land with setups for RVs will trade with each other. I'll use your spot. You can use my spot. I mean, I don't know how that's going to work out.
There's James. He is
All
one of
right,
our
number
neighbor.
15. You really are our neighbor.
Yep. So good. If you're on number 15 and I saw the electric poles, James, they were putting them in last week when we left. And we just got to get them to come back on our road there, which is McGee Road. And I'm told that's going to be in the next month or so. So that's awesome, James. And now we just run that wire and the fiber optic, and we've got water in and septic in. And like I say, we're going to do a big video update on what we've done with our land.
And do we mention who's on 22?
We'll do that later.
Okay.
We'll do that later. Yeah. Thanks for the update. Rocky Bridges.
So where do we live and why?
What's our domicile state and why? Michigan. We've loved Michigan.
We were born here.
We're born here. We thought about doing Florida, and we're really probably dumb that we didn't do Florida, because we could easily do
tax
Florida.
breaks.
So much less expensive.
So many reasons why to live in Florida
Lots
instead of
of
Michigan.
reasons.
Except we have a dog that loves the snow.
Yeah. Isn't that ridiculous?
Yep.
That's a factor in why we live in Michigan? Because our dog loves the snow. You should have seen him yesterday.
Oh, he was having a blast.
Just
running through the
running in the
snow. I mean, if you could see a Norwegian elk hound in the snow, he was made for snow. These people that buy cold weather dogs and then move to a state where the dogs don't have the cold weather and snow. It's not right.
Yep. But we have a big sticks and bricks in Michigan that we've lived in for, almost 30 years. Two of our 3 kids are here. Our grandkids are here. We love the state. We think it's just an awesome state.
It's a beautiful state.
Not pleased with the politics and the taxes. Everybody has issues with most, the states. Like, nobody wants taxes and stuff, but we love the state. And so we continue to make this our state of domicile. That's not saying we won't change. It's really hits you, the real hit. For example, my license plate tabs on our Class C, I just had to buy them, was almost $900.
Wow.
Yeah. And in Florida, it would have been about $45, I think. And it's
$45 versus $900.
Yeah, and insurance is so much more expensive in Michigan.
Oh, insurance.
The more I talk about it, the more I'm wondering. But anyway,
we really should leave the state.
That's where we are now, Rocky, and we may change, and I don't know.
We've been talking about moving for 20 years.
Yeah, give us another 20 years, will you?
Another 20 years, we will be moved.
Rich T, speak on driving in RVs in windy conditions. Jennifer.
All right.
We've done that.
Yeah. With the dual wheels.
It's a lot better than single wheels. Yeah.
But sometimes the wind can blow. And if it gets too much for you, you have to pull over. And what somebody told me when we had just 4 wheels in our Class B was hold the steering wheel loosely. Don't do the death grip on it, and slow down.
In the 6 and 9 position. Yeah.
Yeah. And slow down.
Several times we have just pulled off the road.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember one time we pulled off and there was a hotel, and we pulled in a hotel parking lot, and we spent several hours there. We took a nap and we did some work, and the winds died down and we hit the road again. But
the dual wheels help.
Yeah, dual wheels, but
sometimes it's just too windy.
There are times, if the wind is blowing just right, that it becomes a real challenge. We had the last time was just a couple months ago going up north through Ohio, the state of Ohio. It was a really tough westerly wind. And I spent that whole time fighting that wheel, and it tires you out. But, just go slow and don't be afraid to pull over, but slow. The slower you are, you can't be on the unsafe slow speed, but go slow. Don't try and keep up the same pace. Get in the right-hand lane and stay there. And, if you find yourself having to go 45 miles an hour, 50 miles an hour, and traffic's going 60 and 70 past you, then you should get off the freeway, because you really become a hazard at that point. But, 60 is great. New York.
Question. Have you seen the Airstream Interstate 24X? And if so, what do you think?
It's expensive, man. 200 grand. It's expensive, but we love the Airstream. Airstream makes quality stuff. Very nice interior, but it's really expensive. So we like Airstream. Always have liked the Interstate. We think it's very high end, Class B, but it is expensive. So that's my first reaction to it. Other than
Those
that,
of us
it's
in
great.
the Midwest, it's expensive.
Yes. If you're in New York, it's nothing, man. It's James Burke.
All right. You said no to a B next time. So what will you pick?
I don't know yet. We'll have some announcements, I would think, sometime, but we still are kind of looking, although it's narrowing down a little bit, but we haven't made up our mind entirely. I think we'll surprise you. We'll see what happens. We may do nothing. Yeah.
It's his call.
Yeah. Leonard Giamano.
I sold my motorhome, but couldn't do it anymore. Love to go to Disney World, the campgrounds there. When I first went there in 1977, campsite for $15. Last time I went, $150 for the same campsite.
Isn't that so?
Wow.
I just saw a story, though. If you want to go back there, they've got some really nice Class A's that they will rent out, and I think I saw the price of something like $250 a night. If you really want to camp there, you can camp in a Class A. I might be wrong on that price, but it was something like that. It was very higher than a Class A hotel. But that's one of our favorite, Fort Wilderness, one of our favorite campgrounds. Always have loved it.
I really want to go back there.
And,
but $150?
Yeah, you really have to splurge. Woo! I think it was 120 when we were there a couple of years ago. So, wow. Yeah. Charles Ellington.
Okay. Hi, Mike and Jen. Is there a publication that reviews RVs like Consumers Report does for cars?
No, Consumers Report should do it. There's a lot of magazines that purport to be reviewers, but nothing like Consumer Reports does for cars. So maybe someday. I would think that they would probably be thinking about that, because RVs are so popular.
And things change.
Yeah. Hi, Nancy Jenkins from Canada.
Working on inside a van, getting ready for late spring. Hope that can get rolling. Putting kennels in behind the bench.
Medicine Hat, Alberta. That's a great thing that you're doing there, Nancy, is putting your kennel in so your dog can. Nancy travels, I think, with a parrot too, if I remember her telling us that. So you have to have a perch for the parrot. Or I don't know what you do for the parrot, but congratulations and way to go. Can't wait to send some pictures of it. Robin Idlewild.
Can you make your condo your primary home?
Yes.
Yes, we can, but I don't think I would like it.
Well, you could make it
because we could live there full time.
Yeah. You got to just be there 6 months of the year, and we're easily that. We're between Michigan and it's either one could be the same. And who knows what we'll be with Tennessee. So maybe that'll be a factor, but we could, but I don't know. We're kind of like loyal to Michigan. It's like be true to your school, be true to your state. We kind of like it.
Well, the bad thing about the condo is people above you and people below you, and our condo is basically a rental place. So there's a difference between people who live in a place and people who are on vacation. And it's wonderful. People are on vacation and you scream and yell and run all over the place. And
but if you live there,
Bo barks.
Yeah. But we rent ours out basically from May until August. That's the season in the Panhandle. Everybody, even though it's really warm there, it's cooler there than it is in the south of Florida or in the deep south. So most of our renters come from, Kentucky, Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama,
Louisiana.
South Florida.
Mhm.
And we rent just a couple of 2.5 months. And that's the season down there. We could rent it all year round if we wanted, but the rest of the time we kind of use it, and go here and there and let some friends use it. And the rent kind of pays for it, so but we could make it our primary, although I don't know. Who knows? We'll see what happens some days. We got lots of things that we may do. I don't know. And that's the neat thing about this lifestyle. You have so many possibilities, and just thinking about them and planning about them is exciting enough.
Now, I think you would move to Florida in a heartbeat, but we have the Bo, our dog.
The Bo.
And we take him to the dog park, and we have to keep him from drinking the water because that makes him sick. He develops allergies, and he gets ear infections and gnaws on his feet. And it just seems like it's not quite fair to him to make him live in Florida.
He's not a big fan of Florida.
Plus, I like snow. Now, I won't like snow if you would have made me drive.
Now, what happened to me last week?
You didn't like the snow.
No, I like the snow. I fell twice last week. Once in my driveway and once at the dog park.
That?
Why? Why can't I go there with that?
Because
you told me so.
I said, do not go outside tonight.
I had to open that up.
Yeah, tomorrow the ice will be gone and you can go safely out there.
Yeah.
And you were to go one place to walk Bo, and you took him to the dog park, which is a solid sheet of ice.
Yes, I did. It's all my fault, but still, you're
not going to stay alive if you don't listen to me.
Yeah, falling twice. It's a good thing I had some padding.
I just fall because my glasses fogged up in Florida with mist.
Yeah. Hey, somebody had a question and we just talked over it. I'm sorry.
sorry.
Bring it. I have a single axle travel trailer with ply tires.
What ply tires?
I have no idea. I don't know what came on it. That's I don't know a lot about tires, except on my motorhome that we have now. I've been trying to get Michelin and I can't because it's hard to get tires. I don't know what I would recommend on a travel trailer. Just
maybe a place that sells tires. I don't know, a reputable place that sells tires.
Ask the manufacturer. That's always a good stop. Or better yet, call a RV tech, one of those mobile repair guys, and say, "Hey, what do you recommend?"
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Bobby Craven.
Anyone experience empty sites at campgrounds supposedly booked? Yes,
constantly. Huge problem, and it's a real dilemma. I mean, the last time we ran into it was early summer. We were on Lake Huron, and we got a spot for a couple of days. And we said, "Well, man, this was awesome. Let's just stay for a few more during the week." And we noticed there's a site that's totally empty, and we said, "There's nobody there. Can we get that one?" And they said, "Oh, it's been reserved," but they didn't show up, and they had to keep it. It was like a 3 or 4 day reserve, and they never came out, and they just had to keep it open like that. So you're seeing a lot of places around the country now are saying that they're going to, if you don't show up by 9 o'clock or 6 o'clock, or you don't cancel, they will give it to someone else and keep your deposit. I think they have to do something, but that's a big problem. Every campground experiences it. Particularly on holiday weekends.
It's not really that much money to reserve a spot for most people.
No, and you usually can get a refund if you cancel. But so maybe you lose $25, $30 the first night, but you tie it up on a 3 or 4 day reservation. It really makes it miserable for everybody else. So that happens. Bobby, way too often. Karen Stroud Eidson.
My husband and I lived full-time in a Jayco Eagle 34-foot travel trailer for 13 years. Best years of my life. We worked at campgrounds and resorts during whatever their season was in spring, summer, and fall. Then volunteered in state parks or Forest Service campgrounds in winter. Was 48 and he was 52 when we started. How fun.
That is fun. I love what you said. The best years of your life.
Yeah.
I just noticed even in Michigan, I just got a news release the other day from the state DNR, and they had something like 800 seasonal jobs. And a lot of them were at campgrounds and state parks and just awesome jobs that you could take for just the season. And many of them had places you could hook up your RV if you wanted. And it's like that across the state. There are publications like Work Camper that will let you, you can subscribe to their service, and it helps connect you with jobs all over the country. We've met a lot of RVers who will work at one place for a month and move to another for a couple, 3 weeks, move to another for 2 months or whatever they want. And the experiences they have are awesome. Thank you, Sharon or Karen, for sharing that with us. That's awesome. Terry Gillis.
Jen and Mike, will you be posting any open dates at your Tennessee lot in Boondockers Welcome in the future?
No, I'm not going to put it in Boondockers Welcome. It's not going to be ready until we got to get the electricity. You'll see the update. We got a lot of progress. We actually stayed with water and sewer the other night for a couple nights, but we got some more we have to do. And the problem we're going to face now is the rainy season.
Rains.
The ground just gets to be miserable. We still need to do some excavation type work to fix up a couple of those sites that we're building 3 sites, but I'm not going to list them in Boondockers Welcome. We're just going to, we'll figure out a way. We haven't figured that out yet, but first I want to get them all built and ready to go. And then we'll go from there. We're thinking of doing a meetup. I'll tell you, heads up now, we're going to do a gathering for 4 or 5 days in October. And we'll announce all of that. There'll be lots of activities. You won't be we'll pick 2 people to stay at our place because we can keep 3. The rest will be at a nearby campground. We'll have a fire out there for everybody. We'll have kayaking. We'll have food. We'll have a great time. But I don't think we're not gonna advertise it. I'm not gonna rent it out, and I don't know how we'll fill it up, but we'll figure out a way. But first, we want to get it completely built up. New York again.
Question: any advice on Harvest House versus Thousand Trails?
Completely different things.
Different animals.
Yeah, Thousand Trails is this extremely expensive RV network of RV campgrounds that you have to pick a region. You pay a bunch of money, and then you can supposedly pick your spots. But if you want to go to another region, you got to pay a bunch more money for that. We're not big fans of Thousand Trails, and I don't recommend it. Some people love it, and that's great. But you ask for our advice, and it's not on our radar. Harvest Host, however, where you stay, basically you pay $100 a year for a membership, and you basically stay for free at wineries, farms, museums, tourist attractions, apple orchards, all these awesome spots. I think they have up to 2,500, 3,000 around the country. And we just love those. Those are a great way to travel, to experience new things. So yeah, big fan of Harvest Host. And we've stayed in a couple of thousand trails over our decade now of living the RV lifestyle, but we're not big fans of it. They're too big.
It's like a city. It
is like a city. And it's kind of amusing actually to see, but not our favorite kind of camping. Not our favorite. Tom Richardson.
Have you ever had or considered a fifth wheel? I've had trailers and several motorhomes, but like my fifth wheel best of all.
We were so impressed. Well, you'll see the video coming in a couple of weeks from Tampa. We went through a fifth wheel, and actually, I'd say we fell in love with it. It was just really cool. Yeah, I could see us in a fifth wheel. I really could. We've never had one, and we have towed a travel trailer early on when our kids were little. That we had one that we loved and stuff, but oh my gosh, I had problems. It was an old car. We we hadn't have much money, and the car was always breaking down. It was overheated, but we had a travel trailer, but we've never had a fifth wheel. And we actually a lot of you wrote us when they knew we were at Tampa and said, go check out fifth wheels. And we found one we really liked, but we'll tell you more about all this stuff.
Several motorhomes. So I wonder what size motorhomes. If you had an A, then you probably had to tow a car.
Yeah. There a lot of people tell us that, because there's basically, and we have a lot of blog posts coming up in the next couple of weeks about fifth wheel versus a trailer. What's the best? What are the pros and cons? We've got one on Class C's and Class versus Class A's, pros and cons. All that's coming up. But to your question, never had thought of a fifth wheel until we saw Tampa and realized, that really would work. It's kind of cool. We'll have a video on what we saw coming up in a couple weeks. I keep telling you that we'll have a video, but every week we release a different one. So it's coming. It's coming. John T.
Do you hook up to city water or only fill and use a water pump? Any worry about springing an uncontrolled leak hooked up to city water?
No.
That little water pressure gauge.
No. Yeah. Older units, I think most RVs now, except maybe the real cheapy entry level ones, come with a built-in pressure gauge on them. So you don't get more than 40, 50 pounds from the pump. No matter how, because some campgrounds, you turn that on like ours, it whoosh, I don't know how many pounds. The guy thought it was about 50 pounds, but we have a pressure gauge in our RV. So if there's too much water pressure, it's not going to happen. I'm just not worried. I mean, we'd know about an uncontrolled leak real quick because we'd hear it dripping or we'd see it. And I'm just not worried about that. But I do hook up to city water when it's available, and our property that we're developing in Tennessee will have, it already does now have city water, great city water. And we put the filter that we talked about earlier on. And, I do, when we're traveling and boondocking, we fill up the freshwater tank. The thing that I found about the freshwater tank is you don't want to leave water in there more than a week, even no matter what time.
How warm it is.
Yeah. And if it gets really hot, we try to just put enough in that we can empty it and fill it. You don't want to let that water just sit there and bake
and go bad
and go skunky on you. Yep. But city water is great. I'm not worried about a leak. Never had one. Ty Webb. What
size rig are you going to build out your sites to support?
Not huge rigs, but we the pads that we're building are
20.
Two of them are 20 by 30. And one of them is going to be probably a little bigger, maybe 25 by 35. So that's the size that we're building, and you should be able to get most things in. The really huge, long, 55 feet long things with the tow vehicle.
By the road.
Yeah, they could park by the road. Actually, we could probably we'll have 3 spots and a boondocking spot.
True.
Park by the road. And we have a dump. We have 3 dumps on it, so there'd always be stuff. So
I was gonna say, do we have enough hose?
It's a little bit difficult. No, they'd have to hook them. It's a little difficult on the road we're at to take anything really, really long because it's a very narrow run and there's a couple of really steep hills.
Got a horseshoe drive.
But I think you could get. I think you get any rig in there pretty much. Just might be a little white knuckled or something there too long.
I was gonna say, I don't think anything scares you.
Laura Garvin.
Hello from Washington State. What is your thoughts on the Thor scope?
Rise, yeah. Rise. You did a video on that. You just it's kind of an entry level. I think they're all under 100, which is entry level now. Can you imagine that? How expensive motorhomes are?
When a truck is 70 or 80,000.
Yeah, a new pickup truck to pull one of those things is 70 to 80,000. If a good one. They're entry level. But they have a lot of nice features on them. I think I'd have to look at our video, but we just had one up not long ago on, I think that with the Rise, and you can check them on the RV Lifestyle channel on YouTube, but it was okay. The Promaster chassis is very popular with Thor because primarily you can get them. You can't get the Transit. They're hard to get now. Even harder to get are the Mercedes Sprinter chassis. And so Thor wisely has bought a bunch of Promaster chassis and has developed several entry-level Class Bs on there with some pretty good features, really. They've got solar and they've got, I think they've got lithium options. They put a really nice Thule bike rack on the back. Bathrooms are in the back of it, if I remember right, with a pull-down sink. It's a nice little unit. And the Promaster is a pretty solid chassis for everybody. Does a great job. Shorty Gramling.
All right, we're going to try the work camp thing in Hill City, South Dakota. First time to it. Looking forward to it. Larson's Cooked Creek RV. We are from Arkansas. Any advice?
Oh my gosh.
I think you're going to really have fun.
Yeah, we've never done that. We've actually thought about it. That it would be kind of fun to do some season, to give it a try out. Maybe we'll find somebody that we can be hosts for a week or so and do a video on what it's like.
That would be fun. And
Yeah.
I like South Dakota.
Yeah, any of you
I
have
like
a
the
campground out
people.
there that watch us? You got a place that you think you could use us to be work campers for a week or so, and we could do a video and show people what it's like.
And Bo can be a greeter.
Bo can be a greeter. Bo's the official greeter. Oh, he'd like that. Well, good for you, Shorty. I think that's awesome. Other than, enjoy yourself, and I think you'll have a great time. I'll look to you for some advice after you do it. Tell us what we should know. So congratulations. All right. Got to tell everybody we got new merch coming. We got our whole spring lineup coming. Not ready to announce it yet, I don't think, but soon. Particularly answering a lot of emails we've gotten from women who wanted something that's a little more feminine, that fits a little better. So we've got some really nice designs that Phyllis has set up for us out there. Hey, Phyllis, can you talk about it? Let's have Phyllis. Tell them about those designs. This Phyllis Carr, who's been keeping all the questions going. We got new spring designs.
Yeah, they're really nice. And the colors are the main thing. You've got pinks and light blue and green and all of that. So that's a nice thing. We're going to have something other than gray and black. So
Yeah.
And the different neckline and softer fabric.
Yeah.
And
When do you think
but
we're
the
going to show
hats-
those off?
Yeah, but we also sort of pre-released the hat with the new logo on it. So there's pink hats and blue hats.
Oh
and-
yeah, they're out there now.
Yeah,
Right there.
yeah, the hats
right there.
are
That's our
open.
link.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
you can go look at those.
I thought
Yeah.
you ordered me a hat.
It's coming. It's in the mail, right?
Okay, it's in the mail.
I got you a pink hat. I'll tell you what, when we announce these things, we'll wear our new hats. So
Awesome.
you see, I got two hats behind me now. Somebody sent me the orange big power tee from Tennessee, the Tennessee Volunteers. And then another one of our listeners in the mail came this one, which is from Vanderbilt. So I've got two of my Tennessee hats. So,
That's awesome.
but I'll add our other ones. All right. Well, thank you, Phyllis, for being there. All right. So I think we have it. Thanks over on YouTube to Chris Cowley, who has been moderating everything over there and keeping it all going. We appreciate Chris. I see he's helping lots of questions, and it would be cool. Let's see. I had one thing I wanted to pick up here. This is from Nancy Einhauser. Nancy is one of our Facebook supporters, and we haven't talked a lot about supporters. And we have a special group for Facebook supporters. They kind of get a first peek of all the big things we're doing, and it's a way to kind of help Jennifer and I out a little bit, and it's on Facebook. And Nancy says, wouldn't it be great if manufacturers of trailers offered built-in generator options? Do I know of any? I think several of them have generator options, don't they?
I think they do.
Yeah. So I don't know which ones, because we're not as well versed in towable trailers as because we don't use them ourselves. But yeah, that would be a great thing. It would be very cool. So Lynn M.
All right. Hi from South Dakota. You might want to consider ice cleats or clamp-ons for walking on ice.
Okay,
Available
Lynn.
at Amazon.
Now you got me
They
in
work
trouble
great.
again.
We have cleats.
I just didn't put them on. I had them on when I fell on the dog park. I did have them on there.
It was a solid sheet. It was an ice skating rink.
Yeah,
You
I
were
put a
watching
picture of
other
some.
people fall.
I was, and I was so glad that I had my ice cleats on. But in our driveway, I didn't put them on. And somebody said, put them on, and I didn't. But I do have them, and that's how I'm able to take Bo for a walk, because it gets pretty treacherous.
But there
out
are
there.
times at our dog park, which is 24 acres, it just becomes a solid sheet of ice.
Oh my gosh! I put a
About the
picture
end of
somewhere.
February.
I don't know if that's
It isn't safe. That's normally last year. That's when we went south.
Yeah, here's a picture. Let's see if this will
mid-February.
show up.
mean,
Can
it's
you all see
solid.
that?
Look.
Right. Let me focus it right there, and we'll let you see there. And you see that?
No.
That is solid ice. And back where Bo is right there, that is also ice. But this is solid ice. And
And
it
it's
was
little hills.
It was crazy. Just crazy. Christopher Cowley. Hi, Chris. People were ice skating, he says, down the road from him last week.
Yeah.
Now the whole park. Yeah. This is from now on, it's just treacherous.
It's
out there.
interesting. And like
Yeah.
in Michigan, the ground is frozen and then the rain comes, then it just is on top of that frozen ground and then it freezes. and
I
it's
wonder
treacherous.
if everybody else is like this around the country, because this year, more than ever before, we've noticed these extreme swings, very cold, then it warms up for 3 or 4 days, then it gets very cold for 3 or 4 days, just a constant yo-yo of extreme temperatures. And it's nuts. Hey, you got a question or a comment for us? Send it to us right there. If we didn't get to your question tonight, just copy it over and send us that as an email. That is our private email, and you have access to it anytime you want. Just send us your comments, your questions.
You haven't asked people for a long time to do a selfie question and send it to us.
Because they don't do it.
Oh,
They send us a lot. We get lots of
then you
email.
have to give them a gift.
Don't say things that you can't do.
Then you
Yeah,
got to mail it.
One
I
of the
know.
things we love to do with the podcast in particular is when people do a selfie question, you just video yourself as a selfie asking us a question and send that to us. You guarantee we'll use it in the podcast every Wednesday. But if not, send us a question by email and be a chicken, don't be afraid, be shy, and we'll still use your email questions. But we do like selfies. I didn't mention, we haven't gotten any super chats for a long time from our YouTube people. They must not think we're worth it, I guess. But we used to get lots of super chats, and I don't see any of those anymore. I don't know if I should promote those anyway. But to all those who used to give us super chats, thank you for those. What other things do we need to promote? The podcast. We'll get a newsletter that comes out tomorrow. Hopefully you all have subscribed to that. That's got lots of information on it. Podcast Wednesday, we're going to talk about the 5 most expensive repairs you don't want to have to do for your RV. And I think that's an interesting list that you'll find helpful. And then next Saturday, video of the week, we will have an update on the improvements we've been making on our private little RV retreat that we're building in Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
So stay tuned for that. So we got a busy week ahead of us. We hope you guys all have a great week. Thank you, Phyllis, for helping to moderate. Thank you, Chris, for helping over on YouTube. And thank all of you who have been with us tonight for the questions. We love doing Ask Us Anything, and we will be back again a week from tonight with more. Till then.
Happy trails.